All right, so let's do our shrimp legs. So I'm going to do this very, very simply. Let's go in and drop in a, let's see, how simple am I going to go? Let's go with the cylinder. Actually, let's not. I changed my mind. Let's go with a Z-sphere instead. Solo mode. Solo. All right. Let's look at our shrimp leg. How does it bend? We got this going on. And we got a straight piece going on here like that. Now, for rigging, this is going to be a pain in the butt, but it is a boss, you know? It's going to be complex. You're going to hear complaints from your rigging team, or you're going to spend a lot of time rigging yourself if this is, you know, an indie game you're developing for yourself. Let's take a look. I'm looking mainly at these. I want these to be a utility. Let's rotate that back, and that's good enough for a base. Oh, running into that Mac bug. Awesome. So let's do this instead. Let's see if this will work. Nope. Oh. Let's go to 56. Let's try that. By the way, if you're on the Mac side and you hit that bug, don't worry about it. It's not present in the 32-bit version of ZBrush, only the 64-bit version of ZBrush. Geometry mesh. Sorry. Let's try remesh all. See if that'll work. Escape that. Yeah, that's not going to work. All right, so you know what? Screw it. I'll just run with this. Doesn't matter. I'm noodling now, and I don't like doing that. So let's append in that leg, and I'll just sculpt out those fingers. It's a pretty simple shape. I don't know why I'm overcomplicating it. All right, Dynamesh. Let's go 64, which should be enough. And Dynamesh it. Let's smooth down. Let's get that little bend that we should have here. It's like a key feature of that type of leg, that crustacean leg. And the thing is, I'm also a little nervous about this because if I start introducing crustacean elements, I can't just have it in one spot. I have to echo that somewhere else in order for it to feel like a unified creature. You know, like there's something, I can't just have one area that has crustacean elements and then neglect everything else. It just doesn't work like that. Your creature will start looking disjointed. Your design will be cohesive. All right, so I'm going to call that my simple shrimp leg, done, and let's place it. I'm also going to zero mesh it. And let's scale that down. Way down. What I do want to make sure of is that these can reach the ground, because there's no point in having these unless it's just for like a little bit of eye candy, which it's some expensive eye candy as far as what the poly count's going to be, how are you going to have to deal with this in the rig. So I want to make sure this does something that somehow the players interacted with through this element. So I want this to be able to reach the player. You know, what I'm thinking is that there's an attack where these things kind of shuttle around and just shred people. It's like a paper shredder, you know, or you know, it's a plater shredder. And you know, I have a question for you guys, I guess. You know, a lot of times I usually lean very much towards the technical, but I would very much like your feedback on sort of the aesthetic stuff that I'm giving you, and I want to hear how you feel about it. Because I'm trying to take a little bit of a different tack from my sort of traditional training. These are the rules of art, and this is sort of I'm trying to be a little bit more liberal with you guys, and that was my intention, because I feel like, I don't know, games is that area. Games is that area where you can be a little bit more liberal. Games are where you can. I mean, film used to be, I think, in earlier days, but I think lately it's become very much. It's stagnated a little bit, and I don't mean that there's not great art happening in films. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I think that there's not as much adventurous art that's happening in film as often as it is in games. That's why games right now are. I mean, I'm not, you know, a 16-year-old guy or something. You know, I'm an older dude, and not say that older folk don't like games, but I'm saying, like, there's intellectually I like games. You know, it's not just sort of like just for pure entertainment. I think that there's something intellectually cool about video games, and I mean that in a very serious way, because I think that video games are you know, there's that potential always to be a very serious delivery platform for different types of entertainment, and it's become that already. I mean, as soon as the PS2 it came out, or with PS3 and Xbox One, I mean, they've definitely established itself more than just pure entertainment. I mean, you know, there's been education since the very beginning. If you look at like Math Blaster and Oregon Trail, those sort of games that were on, you know, early on in games. So I think there's something very cool about it, and I like that there is still that freedom to be whimsical, to break the rules a little bit. All right, so let's go into move mode, Control Alt. Let's duplicate this guy, move him over here, and duplicate the guy, move him over here. Starting to talk too much and not moving enough. Let's scale this last guy down. There we go. Let's hit solo mode. Let's take the snake hook and just pull these down. There we go. I think I like that. let's see, can we just do a mirroring weld? Yeah. That's what I thought. It's on the wrong side. I can do this. Deformation, mirror, geometry, mirroring weld. There we go. Or I could have done subtool master. All right, so I like that element. Starting to flush things out. And now I'm going to start describing these limbs a bit more. We are coming up on 12:30. Do you guys have any questions? Because I'm going to keep on working until 12:30.